What is up, guys? My name's Patrick here at Spartansuppz with a very special supplement review on this all-new Max's the Gear Juiced. So this is an existing product, but it's an updated formula, an updated format. It's now in powdered form, and we have got a very exclusive opportunity to be able to review the product before it actually comes out. So very excited to have this privilege. Thank you to Tony and the Max's team. It's one of Australia's longest-standing supplement companies, so it's a real privilege. So we're going to go over the formula, go over the ingredients, tell you what they do, the dosing, go over effects, I'll tell you how to use it, and then we'll cover flavors, mixability, and value for money as well. So let's jump straight into it. On screen now, you're going to see a nutritional information panel for this here, the Gear Juice. Now I'm reading straight off the bottle because it's a new product and we actually don't have the panel in digital format just yet, which is very cool. So there's 30 serves in this tub. Each serve is 10 grams. Now it's a fully transparent label, so you can see exactly what's in it and exact dosing. So we're going to go from top to bottom on this one. So our first ingredient, most abundant, is D-aspartic acid. There's 4,000 milligrams. DAA has been shown independently to increase free testosterone up to 40% in as little as 7 days. Now that was studied on 3.2 grams. So 4 grams is well and truly over that. We're getting plenty of it. This raises our total test. It also raises our free test, and it does raise the estrogen just a little bit. However, that doesn't really kick in until the later part of it, and if you're using it for longer periods of time. We'll come back to that in the usage side, but we'll keep working through these ingredients. Next up, we've got some Fenugreek. This is a really good testosterone boosting compound. It's got great data on it. The dosing across every ingredient, I want to say first up, is excellent on everything. And Fenugreek works fantastically because it works in a very different pathway to D-aspartic acid, and they work very complementary of one another. Next up, we've got some organic Maca powder. This is really good for mood enhancing. It's excellent for sex drive as well. It works, I'm going to skip ahead and say that it works in conjunction with your tribulus. It gives you a nice increase in sex drive and arousal. So although that's not really linked to testosterone directly, it is a marker of it, and it certainly gives a nice sense of well-being, and you can feel things working, which is let you know your test levels are higher, but they aren't necessarily linked. Also, we have some ashwagandha extract at 100 milligrams. Ashwagandha is a really good compound for helping to keep cortisol at bay. It acts as a great estrogen modulator, so it prevents the aromatization of test into estrogen. And it's generally a very good recuperative agent as well. It helps us to get from a damaging, healing sympathetic state back into a parasympathetic or resting, recovering type of a state, which is an excellent compound. It's also conducive to a better night's sleep as well. So just generally a excellent health compound, particularly when it comes to a male muscle building supplement. Next up, we've got some laxagenin, 100 milligrams. It's a big dose. Typically that product will cost you the better part of $100 anyway. So very good value for money there. Laxagenin is great at increasing muscle protein synthesis, so the amount of protein we can take and turn back into muscle tissue. It's great for improving our nitrogen levels, which is the rate at which we can retain protein and build new muscle. So it's excellent for recovery and great for strength as well. Very cool compound. Big fan of it independently, and having it in a testosterone booster, even better. Next up, we've got some vasodilation compounds. We've got some citrulline, arginine, and betaine in there. It's going to open up our blood vessels and get more blood into the muscles, and also help with the delivery of these. Now, the next two in here are really cool. So this is part of the estrogen suppression blend. So we've got some DIM. DIM is great because it helps the cells to become more resistant to estrogen. So it keeps them in a better standpoint. It's also excellent for managing cortisol levels, and it works more as a estrogen modulating, not so much an anti-estrogen. So the way that it works is a little bit different to ashwagandha in the fact that you get more test left as testosterone, and the effect of estrogen isn't allowed to be negative. So you miss out on a lot of the water retention, the bloating, the mood fluctuations, and so on, which come from having estrogen hang around for too long. DIM helps estrogen to serve its purpose, which is very vital, even in guys, but once it's done its job, you can move it on out. And the last but not the least is Resveratrol. So this is actually a grapeseed or red wine extract. There's a couple of megs in every 200 mils of red wine from memory. It's not a huge amount there, but this is quite a big dose at 100 milligrams. And it's got some fantastic circulatory system benefits in terms of improving our vasodilation ability, lowering blood pressure, keeping our cholesterol under control, and also preventing cellular damage. So that breakdown of cells is important when it comes to muscle, but in terms of cellular damage and DNA damage, that is part of the biggest part of the aging process. So this has got some fantastic anti-aging properties. It's not particularly well used, but it is a very promising ingredient, and personally I'm a big fan of it as well. So that's what's in it. It is an absolutely loaded formula. We've got ingredients to increase total test, increase free testosterone, keep our test as free testosterone, which is the primary one we want. The more free test we've got, the more muscle building capacity we have. So while I mix this up, I'm going to explain that sort of concept. When we are young, males, say 16 to 20, our testosterone levels, our total test is very high. However, there's a nasty hormone called SHBG, sex hormone binding globulin, and it basically takes most of that testosterone and allocates it to what it's needed for. So there's very, very, very little left to do what we want to do, which is to build muscle tissue. Because our organs and brain and bones and everything else is still developing, there's not a whole lot left over for that muscle building section. So we don't really grow at a particularly fantastic rate when we're in our very young, early teens. Usually people start to thicken up a little bit when they hit their early 20s and so on. So I'm going to chuck a scoop in here. There's also a line on here as to where that mark is. That is where the mark is. If you see a line on there on a scoop, that's what your fill line's for. So this helps to increase our free testosterone. That is the leftover portion that is remaining for building muscle. More free test means more horsepower you can have fun with. It means you can lift more weight, recover faster, sleep better, generally a better sense of well-being, and you'll get bigger, get stronger, have greater sex drive, all of those things. So let's see what this looks like. Now, it's actually got some color in there, which is nice, because typically these ingredients look pretty bitter and pretty brown, but it's the berry bomb flavor. I'm going to say that's pretty good. It's not absolutely amazing. There's still a bit of DAA grittiness, but overall, the flavor is quite good. For a test booster, I'd probably give it a 6 or a 7. Test boosters taste horrendous generally because the ingredients are so vile and so bitter, but Macs have done a pretty good job on that. Very palatable, very drinkable. So, how to take it? One serve, once a day for 30 days. So you can cycle 30 days on, 30 days off. The recommendation is to not go longer than 30 days because the DAA being the primary instigator in the action really has an effective time frame of a month. After that, you get diminishing returns and you're not getting the best value out of it. So take it for a month, train hard, be in caloric excess, take some creatine, make sure you're hitting your protein numbers and water intake daily, then have a rest from this product for a month and continue the same training plan. Then you can return to it for another month and really blitz it. So it gives you a big 3-month muscle building, strength gaining cycle, and you're really optimizing your chances on environment to build as much muscle as humanly possible. So all in all, really well put together product. It's $89.95. I think it's tremendous value. You'd pay the better part of $80 just for the laxagenin, $50 for the D-aspartic acid. The fact you've got all of those other test booster anti-estrogen, estrogen modulators in there together is fantastic. It also happens to be Australian made and owned, which I think is absolutely fantastic to support local brands. So props to Max's. Thank you for letting us trial this before it comes out on market. We're very much appreciative of it. And if you guys want to pick it up, it is available online at Spartansuppz.com. There'll be a link down in the description box below. Feel free to check it out. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you liked the video. If you did, please hit the like button down below. Leave a comment with your feedback. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date with all the latest content. I'm Patrick from Spartansuppz, and I'm out.